What's up everyone, welcome to today's video, welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. It appears the developers have now completed their second developer Q&A on Discord and some pertinent information has been shared. I would go over a lot of what they have actually talked about, but to be very honest, those of you who've been following a lot of our videos, I don't think they surprised us other than us finding out that we only have 3 side villain stories available in the game. This is something that's probably maybe going to have you reevaluate your value proposition if you want to still hang in there and play the game like that. I think it's probably, in my opinion, based on the kind of game it is, it works. You have 4 nights. By the time you run through all your nights, if you had a very long game per play cycle, the game could have gotten maybe tedious by the time you got to your 4th night, or you want to play the game in a way that, you use all of the Gotham nights throughout the playthrough of your own session. At that point, the game might still maybe reach somewhere close to the maybe 15 to 20 hour mark. I don't think this game is designed to be a long game for its story perspective, but we're still yet to see all of that. So I'll wait for reviews before I nail down any of these numbers. So everything I just said could be washed or could be maybe close to accurate. But today, the PC requirements were also revealed in this developer Q&A. And that's what I want to focus my attention on, because for most of us, we've been waiting for this to see. Now, if you have a computer setup that has like a GTX 3060, 3070, 3080, I get it. You're not in this conversation in a sense, but there are people who maybe got a gaming laptop a few years ago and a gaming PC and would want to know how this is going to pretty much play on their systems. So the community manager shared this, and this was the last thing. In fact, a lot of you were tagging me on Twitter. I appreciate it. And they said, and before we go, there have been a bunch of questions about our system requirements for PC, and I'm happy to be able to share minimum PC specs. So 60 FPS at 1080p on low settings, operating system Windows 10, CPU, Intel Core i5-9600K or Ryzen 5 3600, 8 gigs of RAM, and you have to also have something along the lines of a 6 gigs VRAM for your GPU. The GTX 1660 Ti is a 6 gig VRAM. I haven't necessarily looked at the RX 590. I'm guessing that it's actually also going to be somewhere around the same. And then they're also saying we'll have recommended settings to share soon. So if your device is at any rate close to or higher than this particular set of specs, then you're going to be able to play Gotham Knights, which I think this is actually pretty cool. A Ryzen 5 3600 is actually a very decent GPU, CPU, sorry. I don't know why I said GPU. And so I believe for most people who are gaming and have been gaming for anywhere in the past 2-3 years, you will have something that is capable of doing that. If we actually wanted to go down to the main course of this dish, it's all about your core count in terms of how you're going to be, using your build. So I think if you have maybe an 8-core CPU, even a quad-core CPU, to be very, honest with you guys, is going to be able to run this game at the low settings for 60 FPS at 1080p. I guess maybe if you talk about recommended settings, maybe trying to go up to, anything over unlocking the 60 FPS range, playing at high settings, this is where your device is going to require probably a little bit more juice to it. And I'm sure a lot of you, you are looking towards that. And you already have your PCs set up. I get you. I see you. But if you're also wondering, what a GTX 1660 may cost, I looked just now, and to be honest, I was quite pleasantly surprised at the price point in terms of the TI version, because right now there seems to be a lot of GTX models that are receiving the weight of the RTX tweaks at the moment. So somewhere around maybe the $300 price point, even less for a 1660, depending on where you're looking. Don't buy from the scalpers. They're living in a whole different dimension. Now, if you think the NVIDIA prices are way too high and you're saying maybe you might want to look at the RX 590, this is also a very good buy if you were to ask me, but I would probably dissuade you from going that direction unless you find one at a very good deal or a very good price point. You might benefit from getting something like, say, a regular 1660. A regular 1660 also has 6 gigs of VRAM, and that would also work for you. It's about $200 to be able to get one on Amazon without any qualms. If you even want to go hardcore in terms of getting and squeezing out more performance for your dollars, we have brands like the RX 6600, which is on the new 6000 Radeon series, which is about $230 as well on Amazon at this time, US pricing. And you can also get the best out of it. So depending on how you roll, depending on how you look, if you're a PC gamer, you're more than likely required to be as resourceful as you possibly can, because this is how you're going to gain the best benefit in performance and you spending your money. But so far, so good. I think these requirements are good. In fact, the fact that you're going to be able to use, these setups to be able to get 60 frames per second at 1080p tells me two things. Game's kind of bulky, and game's, pretty much optimized if it's going to be able to give you those performances. And to be honest, the last time we actually looked at the specs that were, in quote, leaked from a cache page on Google, those specs were actually slightly better than a PlayStation 4 console. The new specs that we're seeing are actually way better than a PlayStation 4 console and an Xbox One. So I think it's starting to show how much those consoles would probably have struggled to play this game. In terms of console performance, and I wanted to put this in this video before I ran away, someone asked me, the best information that we have so far was from the preview that was done by PlayStation Access. So if you go to the YouTube channel PlayStation Access and watch their gameplay for Gotham Knights, run all the way to the 14-minute mark, they talk about the settings at which they played the game. They played the game, according to them, at 4K 30 FPS, and that's what they said would probably be the best settings for you. So I'm thinking you can scale to 4K 30 FPS and then maybe go down, and possibly you might be able to capture 60 FPS on your PlayStation 5. I do not know, but we'll see when the game comes out. But at least you know that the game is capable of reaching that capability on your PlayStation 5. On the Xbox Series X, we haven't necessarily heard much, and I haven't seen all the previews. I don't have the time to watch all of them. So perhaps we're probably going to be able to see how those scale once reviews start to come out. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section about the PC requirements. The villain talk, we're going to get into that here in a little bit. I really appreciate you guys' time and audience. I appreciate all of your support. We clocked 8,000 subscribers today. We'll do a dedicated video towards that. So thanks so much for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys' time and audience. Like I always say, and I do mean it. Peace out.